Hello, this is Steph Chalk with TPSU at the University of Georgia, where we've just concluded a TPSU program. And I'm here with Bruce. And Bruce, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions, please?
Please do.
Okay, super. And would you tell us a little bit about your role?
My role is I'm a partner with Carr, Riggs & Ingram. We're a regional firm that has a heavy emphasis in auditing of employee benefit plans.
And I know you mentioned that you had been in this industry for a few years, and that I know that in the past there were a lot of oddball assets that used to pop up in retirement plans. Is that still the case, or has that gone by the wayside a little bit?
Right. Well, a few things. You did mention my experience, and so I'll mention that again because it's been about 38 years, but a lot of the things that we've seen in the industry still plague it. I mean, as far as things that are wrong, possibly with audits, and there's more scrutiny on auditors by both the DOL and by the AICPA, enhanced peer review standards. All these things, the focus is on making sure sponsors are using qualified firms, best practices likely to be a party to the Employee Benefit Plan Audit Quality Center, which most respectable firms are, we are, and a lot of them are. But your question specifically, so I think that's helped a lot, and it will continue to improve the practice. But as far as whether there's oddball assets, we can speak to prohibited transactions. In the old days, there used to be loans with the sponsor, which are a no-no. There might be land or property that really didn't have anything to do with, this wasn't so much with self-directed participant accounts, but the old profit sharing and benefit plans. And so that's cleaned up a lot just because of the disclosures. More recently, in the last 10 years, I would say, as you know, plan sponsors can have funds that are available in different types of levels on the fair value range. Level 1, actively traded, all the way to level 3, which there is no active trading, there is no active market. A lot of times it's based upon appraisals and valuations. So what we saw is once you had to start breaking your investments in the plan down by those buckets, the amounts of dollars in the level 3 category did decline just by the fact that you had to disclose it, and they were tending to be more risky type assets.
Okay, so the industry getting better, and it sounds like that's what automation is bringing in some ways as well, the industry getting better.
Everybody, the focus is on quality, and it's improving, and it's only going to continue to. It has to. The Department of Labor has found deficiency rates of 40% and upwards when they come in and audit the auditors. They haven't had that issue with us. We haven't had deficient audits, but across the board there have been. They tend to be firms that dabble. They call them dabblers. That might just do a few, and they don't really respect or have a real understanding of the details and complexities of an employee benefit plan audit. It's much more like a compliance audit than it would be just a financial statement audit. And there are a lot of compliance risks. And if they get in and they audit the auditor, they find out that some of these auditors don't understand some of those particulars of a plan. They're finding auditors aren't looking for late remittances, and they haven't developed a test to do that. That's very specific. It's required. They find that often, and if the auditor's not finding it, they're wondering what else the auditor doesn't know. If the auditor isn't finding that there's been an inappropriate application of plan compensation per their own agreement, the sponsor's agreement happens all the time where it hasn't been followed to the letter, that becomes a problem, needs to be corrected. If the DOL comes in and finds that, but the auditor didn't, again, it sheds a light on the auditor. Why not? And is this a qualified firm? And it just brings up problems for the sponsor. So you really don't want to be in those type of situations.
Thank you, and thanks for sharing your expertise today. It was very valuable.
Well, thank you for having me.
We appreciate
it. Being here.
Good. And is there anything else that you would like to add, and any takeaways from today?
I think this is a great program. I've enjoyed being a panelist on it for a number of years. It keeps getting better. The great questions, they're challenging questions. When you're up there with a panel, you may not have the answer, but likely one of our panelists is. So I've always enjoyed the content of the programs, and it's been a great opportunity for us. Thank you for hosting CRI in this television series here.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you. And that concludes our program at the University of Georgia.